Has been through an ordeal of his own. He complains that Will gets more attention. But when donating his bone marrow last year, he sailed through it, and he scoffs at adults who don't donate.
Like that 30-year-old who didn't want to do it.
Why not?
Too chicken.
David did once lecture a perfect stranger whose relative had expressed fear about bone marrow donation.
He should do it. He's chickener than a first grader. 'Cause I am one, and I know how it's like.
Will looks great, but we still worry. If the cancer stays away 3 years, that's a good sign. But all his chemotherapy and radiation could still take a toll.
With any young child, we always worry about the effects on growth and development, and so we'll be watching very carefully to make sure that he's growing appropriately.
And sometimes we wonder.
Well, if you want to follow Will's story, his father has created a web page which he updates regularly. The address is www.detente.com/Will. If you have any questions about leukemia, treatments, or medicines, it's a place to start. You can also reach Will's page through our KNTV web address, and that's www.kntv.com. And if, like David, you want to join the bone marrow registry and you're not too chicken, call 800-MARROW-2. Now, you do have to be aged 18 to 60, which David says is not fair. On some levels now, David is doing very, very well. On some, he's not.
Now, you said that David, the older brother's reaction had changed over the months. How so?
You know, in several ways. You know, in some ways he's really great with it. In some ways it's rough for him. He hits Will a little more, I have to confess. And Dr. Amelon, who is the doctor who is treating Will at Packard Children's Hospital, says that often the most affected person in the family is not the child with cancer, it's the sibling. And as adults, they'll recall at the slightest fever that my brother went to the hospital, but I'd be at death's door, and they'd still shove me out the door to go to school. And
later he'll wear that as a badge of pride.
We hope.
Do you tend to overreact with Will, though?
Absolutely, and it's something that we're getting better at, but we are reassured, again, by the doctors who say that that's something that we cancer parents tend to do, and we'll never really relax, and it's something that we're getting used to.
I used to kid you about the fact that you have the Tonka truck kids because they're so tough, and they've just gotten even tougher because of this.
They have been great through this whole thing, and many of the cancer kids are. I think I speak for most of the cancer parents at the hospital.
Quickly, what about the curly hair?
We don't know. It could stay. It could be blonde. It could be brown, curly, straight. It could all change. Sometimes it's the transplant. Sometimes it's the medicine.
Okay,
Marla, thanks for the update, and kisses to the boys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, today's rain arrived just as Chris...
It would have cost $300 million to make. Yikes. This is my own celebrity, my 9-year-old son, Will. Every week, nice viewers ask me how he's doing, and as you can see, he's great and quite bored by his doctor exam and his clean bill of health. This is Will 5 years ago. He was bald from chemotherapy, hooked up to lots of tubes, and getting ready for a bone marrow transplant. His donor was his big brother, David. I did a series of reports about Will's ordeal, and for you viewers with long memories, you always ask me, he's just fine. This week's 5-year anniversary was our big goal. That's when doctors consider a patient cancer-free. And here's why I mention Will. There is another thank you. This is another San Jose boy who right now needs a bone marrow transplant to survive. Unlike Will, Austin Rivera does not have a donor, and that's where you come in. 3-year-old Austin has a rare blood disorder. Because he's Hispanic, a perfect bone marrow match will likely come from the Hispanic community. A marrow drive for Austin will be held tomorrow. St. John Vianney School in Alum Rock. It goes from 2 to 4. You could save a life. Now, Brent and Laura, Austin has had other bone marrow drives before. We've talked about him a lot here on the news. So far, no match. Other people, other patients have had matches because of his bone marrow drives. Maybe tomorrow will make the difference.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's hope it does. Congratulations to you and yours, Marla, as well.
Yeah. He's a darling little boy.
Thank you very much. It is now 5:56.
Just a boy.